In this episode of Google Sheets beginner tutorial, you will learn how to work with multiple sheets. I'll show you how to create new sheets, move data between them, and link them so they update together whenever the data in one sheet changes. These are essential skills that will help you organize big spreadsheet projects. If that sounds useful, stick around. Hey there! This is a quick tech, where we learn together one step at a time. If you've been following this series and finding it helpful, a quick like and subscribe really helps the channel grow. Thanks for that. Now let's dive right in. So here is where we left off with our expense tracker. We've got all our expense data, the spending analysis dashboard, and the category analysis dashboard, all crammed together. It works, but if you're using this day to day, you want clean, focused views for data entry and analysis. Let's fix that. First, let's organize our sheets properly. Down here at the bottom, you will see this tab that says Sheet 1. That doesn't really tell us what is actually in the sheet, does it? Let's give it a proper name. Right-click on it and choose Rename, or just double-click on the name. I'll call this Expenses and hit Enter. Much better. Now, we've been working on just one sheet the whole time, but Google Sheets let you create multiple sheets within the same file. Think of it like a notebook. Your whole Google Sheets file is a notebook, and each sheet is a different page. Right now, we only have one page, but we can add more. To create a new sheet, just click this plus sign down here. Perfect. Let's rename this one to Dashboard. Perfect. Now I'm going to switch back to the expenses sheet and move our dashboard over to the new dashboard sheet. I'll just cut and paste them. If any formulas break, I will fix them as we go. Now, here is something really cool about Google Sheets. When I cut and pasted those formulas, Google Sheets was smart enough to automatically update all the cell references for me. Let me show you what I mean. Check this total spend formula. See how it now says expenses with an exclamation mark just before the cell reference? Google Sheets automatically added that sheet name and exclamation mark because it knows the data is now on a different sheet. And it did the same for the rest of the references whenever the reference is in the other sheet. This is called a cross-sheet reference. Let me show you how to create one manually. Let's reference our initial budget, which is at H2 in our expenses sheet. Let's say I want to reference it here in this empty cell. So type equals to start the formula. Now I have two ways to reference another sheet. I can just type the sheet name, expenses, then exclamation mark, then the cell reference, which is H2. Simple as that, and hit enter. Or even easier, let me type equals, then go over to the expenses sheet tab, then click on the cell I want, and hit enter. And Google Sheets builds the reference for me automatically. Now, if your sheet name has spaces, you need a slightly different syntax. Let me show you. If I had named this sheet Expenses Tracker with a space, the reference would look like this. Notice the single quotes around the sheet name? That's because of the space. Google Sheets automatically adds those quotes when you reference a cell in another sheet. The cool part is it keeps track of all your references and updates them when you rename sheets, so you don't have to worry about that. I will change the name back to keep things simple. Here is the key thing. Everything you've learned about cell referencing works exactly the same with cross-sheet references. Relative references, absolute references with dollar signs, dynamic range, it all works. You just add the sheet name and exclamation mark in front. That's it. Now let me improve the formatting just to make it a little more presentable. You can style yours however you like. Let's test our complete system by adding a new expense. But first, let me duplicate this tab and open each sheet in a separate browser tab so we can see the changes happen in real time. Take a mental note that we currently have just one shopping transaction. Let's add another one to see how everything connects. I'll add it down here. Now, check what happens when I drag this formula down. See that? Our dashboard automatically updates whenever we change data in the expense sheet. To make this even clearer, let's change the amount of our last expense. Say we paid 1,000 instead of the original amount. With tax, that becomes 1080. Now, if you're paying attention to the dashboard tab, you can see everything updated instantly. And now we're actually over budget. Let's also adjust our starting budget. Say we began with 5K instead of 500. Perfect. Everything stays connected and updates automatically. We now have clean, professional two-sheet system that's much easier to use and navigate. And there you have it. We've transformed our expense tracker into a professional, organized system with dedicated space for data entry and analysis. Now going forward, we're shifting gears a bit. Starting from the next video, instead of building one big project together, we'll focus on individual Google Sheets skills that you can use anywhere, whether that's with this expense tracker or any other spreadsheet you're working on. We'll cover things like VLOOKUP, pivot tables, and other powerful functions. Each video will teach you one specific skill that you can apply to whatever project you are tackling. If you've been following this series, you've actually come quite a way. The skills we've covered, formulas, references, functions like SUMIF, COUNTIF, unique, transpose, average, sum, etc. This put you well into intermediate territory. So in the upcoming videos, we'll keep building on that foundation to make you a true Google Sheets power user. If this series has been helpful so far, be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps spread the word. Thanks for learning with me today. See you in the next one. Peace.